It's an honor to have those guys here, and very excited to be back with 1,500 plus. Having the opportunity to raise a lot of money, bring awareness to Coaches versus Cancer, the American Cancer Society. A big thanks to everybody who's helped participate and sponsor this. We can't do it without them. It obviously means a great deal to me to have this group of guys here that are so important to the game of college basketball, that have found success in every endeavor. Dana's a guy I've known for many, many years, approaching 800 plus wins. I think he's 37, 38 years as a head coach, and the job that Chris and his impact in basketball, with his playing days in the state at the high school level, to his success at Duke, and now his head coaching prowess and what he's done at Northwestern has been just nothing short of remarkable. And then, everybody knows Robbie is a Big Ten player, and all the successes that he had in his 5 years there, fought through knee injuries, and then his professional career that was very, very successful. And now we're talking about a guy that is truly becoming the voice of college basketball, and so really, really good people that care about others, they care about the game. But tonight we're all joined here to fight a different battle, and we're doing it together. We're going to have a lot of fun, kicking cancer, and that's the goal and the impact of tonight.
Coach, this time last year, you're trying to rebuild the roster basically from the ground up. How important was it from a culture standpoint to bring back a core group of guys this year?
I thought we did a really, really good job of finding the high character guys that allowed us to have our culture and keep our culture. I think it's nice this year to have guys who are a little older back. There's no doubt about that. That's important. You've got Kyle and you've got Ty. Tommy's a veteran, but I think you go right on down the list. Jake, Ben. Those are all guys that have been big parts of what this team was this year, and can move that forward to another level, as always happens here. And our guys get better, and they buy in more, and that's something that we're obviously feeling a great place to be at.
Brad, how is the portal different this year, and how is your approach different this year with the portal?
I think that it's we have the rev share supposedly coming, and there's a date on that. That meant more money for other schools, so we've seen the dollar value go up. There's no doubt the conversation is a lot about money. It's always been about minutes played. It's always about opportunities. Those things are pretty normal from that side of things. But now we've got deadlines with collectives and rev share, so I think those have changed and driven the prices up. You have a drastic difference in where teams are at in their roster building. So some of those teams can drive up prices and numbers very high, and you may only need one or two. But it's different. The money is obviously at an all-time high, and yet you're still trying to find character. You're still trying to find guys that fit your system, and that's something that we're striving for.
What do you think about your literal Twin Towers?
Yeah, you don't. We obviously had to play Z, and I think it was the first time those guys were apart. I think it's got the makings to be just an incredible front court. As we continue to develop that and see what that looks like. Very seldom do you see 7-2 and 7-1 with the ability to shoot the basketball like those two do. They're both very high IQ, and obviously being able to protect the rim at a high level is pretty important.
But not often a kid redshirts and comes back to that program What was it about what you guys wanted with Ty and why Ty came back? Like, why was that a natural fit?
I hope it's because he feels really comfortable, and I think that he sees the things that are in place to help him continue on his path and his journey. Obviously, had just a phenomenal year a year ago, and leading us to an Elite Eight, was as impactful as any player on that team. Now has continued to grow his game. He's changed his body. He's worked very, very hard at all of those things, and he's a guy that will be in year 4 in our system. So I think that speaks volumes to his love for the University of Illinois, our program, and we don't take that for granted. And I think he'll be as versatile a player as there is in the Big Ten, and obviously 6'6", 6'7", 210 pounds. We know what he can do at the rim. We know what he can do rebounding, and I think that has a chance to be an outstanding defender.
The donors are playing a bigger role than we've seen in the past because of the NIL and transfer portal situation. Do you feel like you have a good support system and the resources here to be competitive? Or?
Very good, very good, very good. The Illini Nation is very powerful. Never been more powerful. Never been more involved. And for that we say thank you. We can't compete on a national level without that. And the response has been encouraging, and will continue to be needing their help as we move forward and until all this settles in and we get the new rules in place and guidelines. So the Illini Nation is special. I said it, we've got the best fans in the country. That's evidenced by the 1,500 plus in there tonight, and they show up and sell out every night in our arena. So I'm very blessed that we've got the group that we have in terms of our fan base.
Describe what you feel like you're still looking for, emphasizing as you push forward with the roster building.
Yeah, we're looking for a few pieces. We'd like another kind of a combo guard. We need a kind of a bigger forward. That we're still trying to work through and see what some of that looks like. It's got to be the right fit. We've been very selective in our process to this point, and if it happens to be an older guy, that's great. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a freshman, but it means it'll be. It's got to be the right fit, and a guy who can continually stretch the floor and shoot it will be top priority.
Obviously, you're a freshman.
Repeatedly cited somebody you guys talking to about this portal world. Can you shed some light on what you guys are talking about?
We run in different cycles with it, so it's kind of a good thing to be able to bounce what's happening and what we're seeing in our cycle as they open theirs, and vice versa. And so the timing is something that we all see. You've got kids talking, you've got agents talking on both sides of that, and so the conversations are real. They're important. I have tremendous appreciation for some of the advice that he's been able to give us as they've gone through it in different points of the season, and now here we are in our 30-day, the meat and potatoes of our time, and a lot of conversations have been relevant to what we're seeing in ours.
Right, we always have to look for graphics of whether they're back or not to return. Ben Humberthouse, do you expect him to return? Do you have a status update on Ben?
Yeah, he's going through his process, and we expect to. We hope that's a positive one. He's been working out in our gym every day. He's been working out with Fletch and getting bigger and stronger. I think he's got the opportunity to have just an incredible season, and just being a little more comfortable with what he does. He stretches the floor. There's not a nicer human being on the planet than Ben, and I hope that is we see him in orange and blue next year.
You anticipate any changes or additions to the coaching staff?
We'll see. We're still working through some of all those things, and obviously, when Tim left, we moved Quay in, and we'll get through. We'll kind of battle one battle at a time here as we move through the as we move through the portal, but we'll make those evaluations here pretty shortly.
Brett, last year you went young with some of the playmakers. You're talking about getting old. With action guys, is that really important? Guys who run offense through? Or?
Yeah, and, we were so blessed. We had 2 lottery pick type guys, and they were mature beyond their years. Their seasons were just phenomenal. We gave them the keys, and they were ready to drive the engine. Start the engine, drive the car, and it's very rare that you go find those type of guys, and we took advantage of that. And I thought we had a unfortunate season because we didn't get to reach our ceiling because of some of the sicknesses and things that went on. But if the portal presents some older guys, then those are obviously things that we want to look at and try to take advantage of. It was really good for us a year ago, so why not repeat the recipe?
With Will and KJ going through the NBA draft process, what's your role in that process? What advice did you have for those guys at all?
Just provide information, listen. I'm fortunate that I get all the phone calls as well. I spent an hour and a half with one team this morning, and it's really nice to be able to talk about those guys' strengths, weaknesses. Teams are really diving in now. They're getting really in depth as to the strengths, weaknesses, personalities of all of those young men. So I'm just here to support and pass on information as I get it.
Winning, obviously, money is part of all of this decision, but to have NBA guys now, to have first-round draft picks, what's that mean for you?
Yeah, it's huge. We've kind of run the gamut, and I think they're the first 2 one-and-done guys we've had in this program. That shocks me, blows me away, and yet here we are, and those 2 guys are ready to have them as Casper's is everybody perceives the top 10 pick, and Will's blowing up the ratings. So both those guys were phenomenal. It shows it's a tribute to Adam Fletcher, our coaches, for the job they do developing guys. The facilities, Josh Whitman giving us oven, our crowd for selling out every night, and then playing games on the biggest stages, and those kids want those games. So, I think it's just kind of a step that was needed, and it's nice to be able to attract the best players in the world to our campus.
What's a typical day like in the basketball offices during this portal window?
It's nonstop. The days fly by. I'm missing my walks. I'm missing my workouts. It's always something comes up. I made a comment yesterday to my mom. I said I had my to-do list and nothing got done on it because everything that came up took an hour or more to deal with, and it's just the unexpected. It's the world we're in. You get the phone call, you get a conversation, and all those things are at the top of the priority list right now. So you literally wake up and there's a lot of late nights, and so wake up in the morning and kind of expect the unexpected.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, guys.
Coach.